let's make sure yours stands out for the right reasons. First, don't skip measuring your wrist. Guesswork usually ends with a bracelet fit for a giant or a toddler. Second, knotting matters. Sloppy knots mean your masterpiece might explode at the worst moment. Third, mixing the wrong materials, like stretchy cord with heavy beads, can turn your bracelet into a slingshot. Fourth, ignoring proper tools. Trust me, using scissors instead of jewelry pliers is a recipe for frustration. And number 5, forgetting to check your design before tying it off. Double check your pattern so you don't end up with abstract art on your wrist. Avoid these mistakes, and your bracelets will be the envy of every arm. Happy crafting, friends!
Hey creative weirdos, it's Jay-Z, and welcome back to my channel. If you're anything like me, you absolutely adore those tiny little details that can completely transform a project from just okay to something truly spectacular. And that, my friends, is why I am so excited for today's video. Today we're exploring the colorful world of seed beads. These teeny tiny little gems are like the sprinkles of the craft world. They come in every color imaginable and can add that perfect pop of personality to literally anything. I mean, just look at this rainbow of possibilities. It's like a tiny magical universe in a jar, and I can't wait to dive in with you. We're going to get up close and personal with these little beauties. We'll look at different types of seed beads and how you can use them in your projects. It's not just about stringing them on a thread. Oh no, there is a whole world of techniques and styles that different bead shapes are perfect for. From the classic round beads that you probably know and love, to the sleek and modern cylinder beads, and even some funkier shapes that will add so much texture and dimension to your work. We're going to cover it all. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and prepare to be totally inspired. Whether you're a seasoned beading pro or someone who's just starting to dip their toes into the sparkling waters of jewelry making and crafting, I promise you'll walk away from this video with a ton of new ideas. We're going to look at how each type can elevate your DIY fashion, home decor, or jewelry designs. Let's get our bead on. Alright, let's start with the OG, the one that probably comes to mind when you first think of seed beads, the classic round seed bead. These little guys are like the foundational building blocks of the beading world. They have a slightly donut-like rounded shape, which gives them a very organic and traditional feel when they're all strung together. They're probably the most common type you'll find in craft stores, and for a good reason. They are incredibly versatile and come in a massive range of sizes, typically measured in ounces, like 11/0 or 6/0. The higher the number, the smaller the bead, which is a little counterintuitive at first, but you get the hang of it. It just means more beads fit into a certain length. Because of their slightly irregular, rounded shape, they don't lock together perfectly flat, which creates this really beautiful, almost cobblestone-like texture in your finished pieces. This makes them absolutely perfect for all sorts of projects. For jewelry making, they're a dream for simple strung necklaces and bracelets, creating a classic fluid look. Think of those beautiful multi-strand necklaces that have such amazing drape and movement. That's the magic of round beads. They are also a staple in embroidery, where you can use them to add incredible, glittering texture to clothing, accessories, or even wall art. Imagine a denim jacket with a constellation of tiny, sparkly round beads sewn onto the back. When you're working with them, especially for embroidery or more freeform designs, their slight size variations can be a huge plus. It adds a handmade bohemian charm that's just so warm and inviting. You can use them to fill in spaces, create beautiful floral patterns, or just add a scattering of sparkle. They catch the light from all different angles because of their curved surface, making your project shimmer and shine with every movement. They are truly the friendly, approachable go-to bead for almost any idea you can dream up. A true classic for a reason. Now let's move on to the sophisticated sibling of the round bead, the cylinder bead. These are the supermodels of the seed bead world. They are sleek, uniform, and absolutely perfect. Unlike the slightly rounded shape of the classic seed bead, cylinder beads, as their name suggests, are shaped like tiny, perfect little tubes. This uniform shape is their superpower. When you weave them together, they lock into place like tiny little bricks, creating a flat, smooth, and almost fabric-like surface. It's incredibly satisfying to see them all line up so perfectly. The most famous brand you'll hear about is Miyuki Delicate Beads, and trust me, they are the gold standard for a reason. This precise geometric quality makes cylinder beads the absolute go-to for specific beading techniques. If you've ever admired those incredibly detailed, picture-perfect patterns in beadwork, chances are they were made with cylinder beads. They are the star of the show in bead weaving techniques like peyote stitch and brick stitch. Because they sit so flush against each other, you can create intricate patterns, images, and gradients that look almost like a pixelated picture. It's like digital art, but with beads. They are also the #1 choice for loom work, where you can weave wide bracelets or even tapestries with stunning graphic designs. Working with cylinder beads feels a little more architectural, a little more precise. The holes in cylinder beads are also typically larger in proportion to their size, which is a huge bonus. This means you can pass your thread through them multiple times, which is essential for those complex weaving stitches I mentioned. So if you're looking to create something with a very clean, modern, and high-end finish, cylinder beads are your best friend. They allow for a level of detail and precision that is simply unmatched, turning your beading projects into true works of wearable art. Okay, let's get dramatic. Next up are the long, elegant, and oh-so-fun bugle beads. These aren't your typical little dots of color. They are elongated tubes, like tiny, delicate drinking straws made of glass. They bring a completely different kind of energy to your projects. Bugle beads come in a variety of lengths, from a super short 2 mm all the way up to a dramatic 30 mm or even longer. They can be straight and smooth, or they can be twisted, which gives them a gorgeous spiraled look that catches the light in the most dynamic way. They add lines, structure, and a whole lot of movement. Their tubular shape makes them absolutely incredible for creating fringe. Just picture the bottom of a shirt, the edge of a handbag, or a pair of chandelier earrings, all dripping with shimmering bugle bead fringe. As they hang, they create these beautiful fluid lines that swish and sway with you. It's instant glamour and drama. You can alternate colors, mix different lengths, or combine them with other bead shapes at the end of the fringe for a really custom high fashion look. They are the secret weapon for adding that perfect flapper-era Art Deco vibe to any design. But bugle beads aren't just for fringe. They are also fantastic for embellishments and creating geometric patterns. You can lay them down side by side in embroidery to create solid, striped, or herringbone patterns that have a really unique linear texture. Imagine outlining a shape with them, or creating a starburst pattern on the collar of a blouse. A word to the wise when you're working with them, though. The edges of the bead holes can sometimes be a bit sharp. To prevent your thread from fraying or breaking, it's a good idea to use a strong thread, like a specially designed beading thread, and maybe even smooth the edges with a bead reamer if you're working on a project that will get a lot of wear. Now it's time to get a little edgy and play with some angles. Let's talk about triangle seed beads. These are exactly what they sound like, tiny three-sided beads. They are a total game changer when it comes to adding texture and a modern geometric feel to your work. Unlike the smooth curves of round beads or the flat surface of cylinders, triangles bring a whole new dimension to the party. They have 3 flat sides and slightly sharper corners, which means they nest together in a really interesting tessellated way. When you string them, they don't just lay flat. They create a sort of zigzagging, almost reptilian texture. This unique shape is what makes them so special. When light hits them, it reflects off the flat surfaces in different directions, creating a unique kind of sparkle that's more of a flash than a shimmer. It's a very cool contemporary look. You can use them on their own to create a piece with a really strong textural and almost architectural feel. A simple, strong bracelet made entirely of triangle beads has a weight and a look to it that's completely different from one made with round beads. It feels more substantial, more modern, and definitely makes a statement. Where triangle beads really shine, though, is when you mix them in with other bead types. Imagine a bead weaving project where you incorporate a row of triangle beads among your cylinder beads. It instantly breaks up the flat surface and adds a raised textural line that you can both see and feel. They are also fantastic for creating interesting spiral ropes, or for bead embroidery, where you want a specific area to have a rougher, more defined texture. They are the perfect choice when you want your beadwork to have a tactile quality and a bold, graphic punch. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about the beads that add that perfect finishing touch drop and dagger beads. These are the punctuation marks of the beading world. Drop beads, sometimes called teardrop beads, have a beautiful, rounded, pear-like shape with the hole at the tapered top. They are designed to hang gracefully, making them the absolute perfect choice for creating delicate droplets on earrings, pendants, or the end of a beaded fringe. They add a little bit of weight and a beautiful, elegant focal point wherever you place them. Think of them as the tiny, perfect dewdrops on your design. Dagger beads are the edgier, more dramatic cousins of the drop bead. They have a similar concept, a hole at one end so they can dangle. but they are longer, flatter, and more pointed, shaped like a tiny, well, dagger. They come in one-hold and two-hold varieties, which opens up even more design possibilities. Daggers are amazing for creating spiky, powerful-looking fringe or for adding a bit of a tribal or rock and roll vibe to your work. A necklace with a collar made of woven beads and a fringe of sharp daggers? So fierce and so cool. They add a ton of movement and a really powerful visual statement. Both drop and dagger beads are primarily used as accents and finishing elements. They are fantastic for creating decorative edges on loom work or bead embroidery, giving a piece a polished and intentional border. You can use them at the center of a beaded mandala or as the stunning centerpiece of a necklace. Because all the attention is on them, they often come in really beautiful finishes, like metallic coatings, Picasso finishes, or with intricate patterns. They are the little divas that are meant to be seen, and they do an amazing job of elevating a simple project into a truly stunning piece of art. And there you have it, a whirlwind tour through the tiny, sparkling, and incredibly diverse universe of seed beads. From the classic and humble round bead to the sleek cylinder, the dramatic bugle, the textural triangle, and the elegant drop bead, each one has its own unique personality and purpose. It's amazing how these tiny little pieces of glass can come together to create such intricate and beautiful things. The real magic, though, happens when you start seeing them not as separate categories, but as a whole palette of textures and shapes to play with. I really hope this has sparked some new ideas for you. My challenge to you, my creative weirdos, is to get playful. Try mixing these different seed beads in your next project for unique textures and designs. Combine the sleekness of delicas with the drama of bugle bead fringe, or add a row of triangle beads to a simple strung necklace for a pop of texture. Don't be afraid to experiment and break the rules a little bit. That's where the most exciting and personal creations come from. Your craft supplies are your playground, so go have some fun and make something that is uniquely you. Before you go, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Let us know your favorite way to use seed beads in the comments below. Do you have a favorite type? Or maybe a go-to project you love to make? And if you enjoyed this deep dive and want to see more videos like it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Stay creative, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
The clasp is the final, crucial element of any piece of handmade jewelry. While we often lavish attention on selecting the perfect beads, stones, and pearls, the humble clasp is what provides security, function, and a polished finish. It is the gatekeeper of your creation, ensuring that a beautiful necklace or bracelet remains safely on the wearer. Choosing the right one is not merely a practical decision. It is an integral part of the design process itself. A well-chosen clasp complements the aesthetic of the piece, while a poor choice can detract from its beauty or worse, lead to it being lost. It is, quite simply, a good thing to give this detail your full attention from the very beginning. Think of the clasp as the signature on a work of art. It should feel harmonious with the rest of the piece in terms of its weight, size, and style. A delicate single-strand pearl necklace, for instance, requires a small, elegant clasp that does not overpower the lustrous beads. Conversely, a bold, chunky, beaded bracelet demands a substantial clasp that can handle the weight and contribute to the overall statement. The primary goal is always security, but the secondary and equally important goal is to create a cohesive and beautiful object. Sometimes a spectacular clasp can even serve as the focal point, transforming a simple strand of beads into a truly remarkable design. Before you even begin stringing your beads, it is wise to consider who will be wearing the jewelry. Is it for an adult, a child, or perhaps someone who struggles with dexterity? A clasp that is easy to operate, like a toggle or a magnetic closure, might be the perfect solution for someone who finds small mechanisms difficult. For a child's bracelet, a more secure option like a lobster clasp is often preferable because it is more challenging for little hands to open accidentally. Considering the recipient's needs and lifestyle ensures that the piece will not only be beautiful, but also practical and cherished for years to come. It is this thoughtful consideration that elevates a simple craft into a meaningful gift. Ultimately, mastering the art of selecting clasps is about balancing form and function. You must ask yourself several key questions. Will the clasp be strong enough to support the weight of the piece? Does its style enhance or clash with the design? Is it easy enough for the intended wearer to use? Answering these questions will guide you to the perfect choice. Whether you are creating a simple beaded necklace or an intricate woven bracelet, the right clasp provides the perfect finishing touch, turning your project from a collection of lovely components into a complete, wearable, and secure piece of art. That is a very good thing. Among the most common and reliable closures is the lobster clasp. You will recognize it by its pincer-like mechanism that opens when you push down a small lever. These clasps are exceptionally secure, making them an excellent choice for necklaces, especially those with some weight or made from chain. Their sturdiness also makes them ideal for children's jewelry, as they are less likely to come undone during active play. For added versatility, lobster clasps are often paired with an extender chain, which allows the wearer to adjust the length of the necklace for a perfect fit. While they are wonderfully practical, they tend to have a more utilitarian appearance, so they are best used when you want a simple, strong, and unobtrusive closure. For a more decorative and refined look, the push clasp is a superb alternative. These clasps often feature beautiful designs and provide a very secure click when closed. They are a wonderful choice for both necklaces and flat beaded bracelets. On a necklace, a particularly ornate push clasp can be worn at the front or to the side, becoming a focal point of the design. This placement is not only stylish but also practical, as it prevents the clasp from catching on hair at the nape of the neck. When choosing a push clasp, it is important to ensure its size is proportional to the jewelry. A very large, elaborate clasp is best suited for a statement piece where it can truly shine. The toggle clasp, with its signature bar and ring design, is a favorite for bracelets. Its primary advantage is its ease of use. It can be fastened and unfastened with one hand, which is a significant benefit for a bracelet. The key to a secure toggle clasp is proper sizing. The bracelet must fit snugly enough that the bar cannot accidentally slip back through the ring. If the bracelet is too loose, it is at risk of being lost. The bar itself should also be long enough to rest securely against the outside of the ring once fastened. The weight of the toggle should also be in proportion to the beads, ensuring it hangs gracefully on the wrist. When working with toggle clasps, it is also important to consider the beads nearest to the closure. The beads on either side of the ring and bar must be small enough to allow the bar to pivot freely and pass through the ring without obstruction. If you are using large, chunky beads throughout your bracelet, you may need to taper down to smaller beads near the ends to accommodate the clasp's mechanism. While excellent for bracelets, toggle clasps are generally not recommended for necklaces, as the bar has a tendency to catch on long hair or clothing. Choosing between these three workhorse clasps, lobster, push, and toggle, depends entirely on the style, weight, and intended wearer of your beautiful creation. Magnetic clasps offer a wonderfully simple and elegant solution, especially for those who have difficulty with traditional closures. These clasps, as their name suggests, consist of two ends that contain small, powerful magnets that snap together effortlessly. They are an excellent choice for tubular or round bracelets, such as those made with a herringbone stitch. Because these types of bracelets tend to rotate on the wrist, a clasp that looks good from every angle is ideal, and the seamless look of a magnetic clasp is perfect for this. They provide a clean, modern finish and are incredibly easy to put on and take off, making them a very user-friendly option. However, one must be cautious when using magnetic clasps. Their primary drawback is their strength relative to the weight of the jewelry. They are generally not recommended for necklaces, particularly heavier ones, as the downward pull can be enough to separate the magnets, causing the necklace to fall off. Furthermore, magnets can weaken over time, and they have the potential to stick to other magnetic objects, such as a metal desk or shopping cart, which could cause the jewelry to come undone unexpectedly. For a very lightweight necklace or a bracelet, they can be a perfect choice, but their limitations must be carefully considered for a secure and lasting design. Buttons provide a charming, creative, and often metal-free alternative for finishing a bracelet. This makes them a fantastic option for individuals with metal allergies or for those who prefer a softer, more organic look. Much like a toggle clasp, A button closure is very easy to operate with one hand, making it exceptionally well suited for bracelets. The key to a secure button closure lies in the construction of the loop. The loop, whether made from cord or beads, should be just large enough for the button to pass through with a gentle push. If the loop is too large, the button can easily pop back out, especially with movement. When creating the loop for a button, shaping it into a slight V or a point can add an extra measure of security, as it helps to hold the button more snugly in place. Buttons are not typically used for necklaces, but for bracelets, they open up a world of creative possibilities. You can use a vintage button as a focal point, a simple wooden button for a rustic feel, or a colorful plastic button for a playful piece. The warp threads from a loom woven project can even be gathered and tied directly to a button, creating a seamless and integrated finish. Using a button is a simple, effective, and delightful way to complete your bracelet. When you venture into flat beadwork, such as projects made on a loom or with peyote or herringbone stitch, you will discover a need for specialized clasps, designed to finish these wider pieces elegantly. One excellent option is the slide-on clasp. These clasps feature a channel or trough into which you slide the last row of your beadwork. Once the beads are in place, small tabs or wings on the clasp are carefully folded down with pliers to clamp the end of the beadwork securely. This creates a very clean, professional-looking finish that is perfectly suited to the straight edge of a flat bracelet, providing a secure and tailored closure. Another popular method for finishing flat jewelry, particularly pieces made with beadwork, leather, or cork, is the glue-in clasp. These are typically flat, often magnetic clasps that have a recessed opening. To use them, you apply a strong adhesive, like E6000 glue, into the opening, and then carefully insert the end of your project. It is sometimes necessary to taper the beadwork at the end, perhaps by switching from larger to smaller seed beads, to ensure it fits neatly into the clasp. Fold-over ends, which are commonly used for finishing ribbon, can also be adapted to clamp onto the ends of flat beadwork, offering yet another simple and effective solution. Beyond these specialized options, there are several other wonderful alternatives to consider. For a truly custom, artisanal touch, you can create your own hook and eye or S-hook clasps using wire. This allows you to perfectly match the metal type and style to your project, and it is a wonderful skill for any jewelry maker to learn. Pearl clasps, which often have a small clip mechanism, can be used to connect multiple strands or even to shorten a long rope of pearls for a different look. These closures add a touch of vintage elegance and are very secure for lighter pieces, offering both function and beauty. Finally, it is important to remember that not every piece of jewelry requires a metal clasp at all. For casual bracelets or necklaces made from materials like leather or hemp cord, an adjustable slip knot is a fantastic closure. By creating two sliding knots, you can make a piece that is easily expandable to slide over the hand, and can then be tightened to fit the wrist perfectly. This method is ideal for creating jewelry without any metal or glass components, perfect for a rustic aesthetic or for those with very sensitive skin. The world of closures is vast and varied, and exploring these options will allow you to find the perfect finish for every single project.